Good morning, YouTube. Pokemon Legend Master here with a new video, this time against a battle I found on YouTube. He's just starting out, but he's pretty good to say the least. Anyway, let's get into the match. I lead off with my Firehound, Ninetales, as you're probably aware of. This team, I have actually updated a little bit. I got rid of Gyarados because he wasn't working very well. Anyway, he also leads with his weather Pokemon of Raindrop the Politoed. So I go ahead and just use Protect just to see what he's going to kind of do. And it actually turns out he goes for the Toxic. So I decide here to switch out, go into Fortress, who's immune to Toxic. I know I'm running the risk of getting Hydro Pump in the face, but I figured he probably wants to get that Toxic off on Ninetales, and I can bring in Fortress fairly safely this way. He actually withdraws his Politoed the very next turn for his Donphan. And I get a free Stealth Rock up, but he does have Donphan, which is a Rapid Spinner. So that means I'm going to have to go into something that'll stop him from Rapid Spinning, or just do a huge amount of damage. But I go ahead and switch into my Spin Blocker of Dusclops, so he can't get rid of the rocks on his side. But he doesn't go for the Rapid Spin right away and sets up his own rocks instead. I guess he predicted me to go into Dusclops. Anyway, he switches out right away, knowing he can't get rid of the rocks, and he doesn't want his Dusclops, his Donphan to get burned. So he switches into Rampage, his Dragonite, and I just go for a quick Shadow Sneak because I know the accuracy under rain conditions for Will-O-Wisp are terrible. And I just wanted to get as much damage off as I could. So Rampage goes for the Dragon Dance. Now, I'm kind of worried about this Dragonite because it's a Dragon Dancer and it probably has Outrage, and that's going to leave a huge mark on anything. So I just go for the Seismic Toss right here because I know Great Wall can take at least one Outrage thanks to the defensive investment I've given him. He's incredibly bulky. So Rampage goes ahead and uses his Outrage here. And it hits hard, very hard. I believe it drops me down to 63 HP, which means it's easily a 2-hit KO, but my second Seismic Toss puts him into Shadow Sneak killable range, which is great because I can just Shadow Sneak and get rid of his Dragonite, which is a huge threat against my team. I only have a couple Pokemon that can resist it and nothing to really take an Outrage. So Shadow Sneak finishes off Dragonite, and I'm feeling a lot more at ease now. Anyway, he goes into his Therian form, Thundurus, I believe. I always get those forms mixed up. But anyway, he goes for the Hurricane, and I decide Dusclops, there's not much I can do with him. I'm going to have to let him go here. I'm sorry about the camera angles. The next video is much better, I promise. Anyway, I lose Dusclops to the Life-Orbed Thundurus, and I go back into Ninetales just to get the sun up and get rid of the rain so his Hurricane doesn't have the accuracy. But he switches out here and goes back into Raindrop, I believe, his Politoed. Yes, he goes back into Politoed, and I believe I just go for either the Protect or the Heat Wave. I can't remember right now. But he gets his Rain back up, which really stinks. Yeah, I went for the Protect that turn, that's right. And so Politoed has its Rain back up, and I'm forced to switch out, worrying about the Scald. So I go back into Fortress to get rid of the rocks and hopefully get some Toxic Spikes on the opponent's side of the field. I don't have my Spin Blocker anymore, which is unfortunate, but it will allow me to do some work. So Fortress goes in, and I'm not really worried about a Azumarill because as powerful as it is with its ability, huge power, Fortress resists pretty much everything Azumarill has. And so I'll be able to take on Azumarill with little difficulty. It goes for the Ice Punch, and it knocks off maybe 30 HP. And so then I go for my rapid spin just to clear out the field, so I can bring in Pokemon safely. And I believe there's a double switch here if I remember correctly. Azumarill's pulled out because he sees how little damage he's doing, and he goes into Terrakion. And this guy is a huge threat. He's probably a Choice Bander, and I'm a little worried about it here. So I just go for the Toxic Spikes, knowing that, well, Terrakion is a serious threat, and there's not much I can do against it except have to sacrifice Fortress to stop it, and then go into like Salamence or something and Revenge Kill it. But he actually switches, which is good because now Donphan is poisoned, which means it won't be able to Rapid Spin as much. So I've got Donphan poisoned, and I get my second layer spikes up, but I know I'm not going to keep him because he's going to Rapid Spin here. So what I do instead of staying in, that or set up rocks, either one. He's either going to set up the rocks or he's going to Rapid Spin. So I go ahead and I switch out. Any day now. Maybe I should have sped the video up a little bit. Anyway, I switch out here for my Firehound again, which actually is carrying an eject button. So if I take a hit, it'll eject me automatically, and it means I got a free drought. So I've still got the sun up, and I don't have to worry about having to hard chain or switch. Wow, I can't believe I had such trouble saying that. So the Rapid Spin gets hit, or hits Firehound, and I'm forced out with my eject button, which is good. And I go into Salamence because I know I can take one Ice Shard, and hopefully I can get this Salamence to do some serious damage here. And I decided I'm going to get rid of Donphan with a quick Draco Meteor. So he goes for the Ice Shard, and it does a ton of damage, being that I'm 4 times weak to it, and Donphan's a physical monster. Its attack actually rivals that of Heracross, although he doesn't have the attack boosting stuff like Heracross's Guts and Moxie. So my Draco Meteor hits, and it's on his special attacks or defense side, which is much weaker, meaning I get a clean kill on Donphan. So now I can set up entry hazards freely, which is great. I also get a Moxie boost, which is nice. And he goes into Azumarill. I know I resist the Aqua Jet, but I'm not sure if I can take it and keep Salamence. So I just switch out and go back into Fortress, knowing that Fortress can take anything that his Azumarill's got. So he goes for the quick Aqua Jet, thinking to Revenge Kill Salamence, but it just kind of bounces off harmlessly off of Fortress. And I believe I go ahead and start setting up some entry hazards here. Stealth Rocks, if I remember. That or Rapid Spin it away. Yes, I put up my rocks first turn, knowing that he's probably going to switch. And he goes into Terrakion, which I really don't have a good counter for unless it's a Revenge Kill. And I know he's probably a Bander, which means my Salamence might be able to outspeed it because of the speed investment I've given him. So he goes and hits me with a close combat, and that does a ton of damage, which means I'm not going to be able to get much up. I go for the Toxic Spikes here, just to get them up. And so Fortress has done some good work. He's gotten a layer of Toxic Spikes up, and he's gotten the Stealth Rocks up, so everything's going to take at least some damage coming in. And Fortress finally goes down after keeping my side of the field clear. So he did some really good work, and I'm glad to have him on the team. Fortress goes down here, and I go back into Salamence, hoping that he didn't give it a speed nature and instead gave it an attack nature. So I go for the Earthquake, which is on his -2 defense, and of course Salamence is a physical beast, so it's a one-hit knockout, and I get my Moxie boost. And so Salamence is doing some good work here. Got rid of Donphan and Terrakion, which were both important key kills. So then he goes into a Azumarill, going to hopefully get rid of my Salamence is what he's doing. He's poisoned by the layer of spikes. He goes for the Aqua Jet. I'm hoping because I got the sun up and he resists water, I can take the hit.